Hi, welcome to PG6's channel. This is going to be a video on selecting your first firearm. And this particular one is going to be on handguns. I may or may not make a rifle slash shotgun one in the future. The way I kind of look at it is most people are probably going to buy a handgun first if they're over 21. Just kind of the way it is. It's not really right. You should probably get a rifle first, in my opinion. I have several handguns here to show you. Let me introduce the players. First off, all these are going to cover large categories, basically. That is a SIG P226 Navy Special Edition, and that's basically covering custom and special edition guns. This is a Springfield Armory Micro Compact 1911. It's basically just standing in for all 1911s. The Glock 26. That's just standing in for all the Glocks. The Hi-Point C9, standing in for budget firearms. Standing in for revolvers, we have a Colt Official Police. Concealed carry handguns, we have a SIG P238. Okay, and when I say a concealed carry handgun, I'm talking basically about a 380 or a 32 subcompact, something super tiny. Maybe a single stack 9mm at the very biggest. And, whoa, what that was about. My focus just went all jacked up. Anyway, standing in for all 22 caliber handguns is North American Arms. I don't know why it's doing that. It's weird. Anyway, all 22s North American. I don't have any other 22 handguns right now, except for a conversion kit for that. Well, I'm just going to keep my hand out of the frame now. Since every time I do that, it seems to go all foggy. Where to start on this? Let's start with eliminating some categories. It's still not wanting to focus right. There you go. Sorry about that, guys. It's not acting right. I'm going to stop this and restart it and see if that helps. See a second. Okay, I think I got it fixed now. Zoomed out a little bit more. Let's start with eliminating some categories. First off, custom guns and special editions. Anything high priced, and not my recommendation. Although if you got this with a 22 caliber conversion kit, it could be a wise choice. But they're cheaper alternatives. The next one I'm going to eliminate is actually the other most expensive gun on the table. Concealed carry guns. And the reason I wouldn't say these is just because they are very difficult to shoot. The other one was eliminated because it's expensive. A lot of these guns are actually quite cheap, but they are not the easiest thing in the world to shoot accurately. Okay? And while you don't need the easiest thing in the world, something that you could learn to shoot fairly quickly is a plus. And it's not concealed carry handguns. The next thing I'm actually going to eliminate are budget firearms, like this Hi-Point. And really here I'm talking about the Hi-Point in general, because a lot of the other budget firearms are unreliable. High points are reliable, but they have other issues I'm going to talk about. So, the High Point's really the only cheap gun I would actually own because it actually shoots. There are a lot of cheap guns that just do not work. The High Point does. The reason I would not suggest this as a first handgun is because every time you go to shoot it, it has this gigantic mass of metal moving every single time. Makes shot recovery ridiculous, and the trigger is just crappy and plasticky, I think. And not to mention magazine safety. I don't like that. That's basically so they can get it into California. So I'm eliminating the High Point, although honestly if you only have 100 to 150 bucks, the High Point really does win. Okay? The only other reliable firearm that you're going to see in that category is probably a Handgun revolver at $99. Slow to reload. High Point you can get an extra magazine for, and you can reload it quickly. More rounds in the High Point. You can get 10 round mags for these. It's the best of the budget firearms, and I would even eliminate it. Okay. Next to be eliminated, the 22. For a first gun, I want something that is cheap to shoot, but center fire. That way it will reliably stop somebody. Okay. 22 pistols are just not it. And I'm not talking about North American here. This is just giving me something to hold while I talk. I'm talking about things like Ruger 2245s, Glock conversion kits, 1911 conversion kits, big revolvers, everything. I would not pick a 22 for my first gun simply because I couldn't defend myself with it. At least not as reliably as bigger calibers. Left here are what I think are the three reasonable choices. That is the Glock revolvers, specifically police surplus revolvers such as this Colt, and 1911s, specifically budget 1911s such as the Springfield Armory or the Rock Island Armory. All of the guns I just listed out there work, and they work well. They are all combat handguns, except for the 1911. I'll get to that in a second. The reason I say the 1911 is not a combat handgun is because it wasn't built intending to be in a police holster or go to war. Those 1911s were built for the consumer market. And I don't know what their quality controls are like, quite frankly. If you had a Colt 1911 from back during World War II, I would say the thing was built for combat. Rock Island, I think it's debatable. If you're willing to buy one and maybe put some work into it, I think a Rock Island 1911 is a very, very good gun. But this police revolver was in a policeman's holster for well over 40 years. That gun was made in 1933. And the police officer in question was on active duty as a patrol officer for 30, 40 years. Actually, he was a patrol officer and then a detective, but anyway. It was intended to save his life. Which, when you're buying a handgun to save your life, that would be the first thing I would look for. Is that it was designed to do that. A lot of those other guns I mentioned are either not designed to do that, or they were designed to, but are just not right for the first time shooter. I'm going to talk about each one of these in respect to price. Because in general, these are about 300 bucks, the police surplus revolvers. The 1911s are about 400 for the budget ones. The Springfield Armory is a little bit more than that, but I'm really talking more about the Rock Islands. And Glock is about $500. So that's a pretty good spread there of prices. You should be able to afford one of these, unless you just blow all your money on booze and cigarettes. Which, if you want to do that too, that's fine. More guns for me. The revolver is probably the first and best choice for a first gun because it is very safe. That's why most revolvers don't have safeties. And honestly, I would consider any gun with a safety to be a tool meant for someone who has a mastery of that device, not a first-time user, because it's way too easy to forget to click that off. That's just my opinion. A lot of 1911 guys would disagree with me. Okay, that, and also you carry condition 2, and it would eliminate that. Because you're probably not going to forget to draw a hammer back. It's kind of obvious as to whether or not it's cocked. So, the 1911, in my opinion, would be the weaker of these three choices. But a lot of people love it. And it's 45. But honestly, you could get the revolver in a 45 caliber chambering. Yeah, there's several revolver rounds. 45 Colt, 45 ACP with moon clips. Even 454 Casull if you wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend that either. The Glock is probably my overall favorite of the three. It is the most expensive, but you have to consider what you're getting for the price. If anyone else but Glock made this handgun, this would be a $1,000 handgun. Quality levels on it are just incredible. Half of the reason it is so cheap is because it's a polymer frame. It is a quality gun that many people trust their life to every day. And really, in these three choices, there's not a bad gun. Okay, there are better and worse choices. I think you would be safer carrying a Glock than you would a revolver. That's an opinion, though. That's not a fact. There's a lot of old timers out there that would never carry a semi-automatic. They think they're unreliable, which is actually kind of funny, but it's very old school thinking. That's why it's funny. In short, it really depends on your budget. And overall, if you can afford a Glock, I would get a Glock. Okay? But if you can't afford a Glock, there's two more choices that are each stair step down $100. And honestly, in most defensive encounters, 6 or 7 shots are going to be enough. This Glock here actually holds 10, but there are Glocks that hold as many as, 33 rounds. Actually, this gun could hold 33 rounds. But that's another video entirely. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Hope this helped you. If you have any more questions, put them in the comments. I'll be sure to answer them. And don't forget to thumbs up the video. Thanks for watching.